This stream was broadcast during the 2023 SAG-AFTRA and WGA strikes. Without the labor of these talented artists, the stories we love would not exist, and our conversations about them would be impossible. For more information on how you can aid in the strike, click on the link in the description below.
Hello, my friends. It is Aldo, and welcome back to the Knights of the Nerd Republic. You know what to do, and stay profitable.
The Nerd Academy podcast is released weekly at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, available on our website at www.thenerdacademypodcast.com and wherever you listen to podcasts. You can find the Nerd Academy podcast on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. You can also help support the show by going to patreon.com/The Nerd Academy podcast, where every donation allows us to bring you more exciting content every week.
Hello there, and welcome to our very first live talk back episode. I've been pondering doing something like this for a hot minute, and I was like, you know what? I think Ahsoka is the time to attempt it. First and foremost, it's at the top of the episode, and I just need to reiterate again the stories we're talking about. The amazing tapestry. I said the word. I owed Alden money. That of Star Wars is not possible without the writers and the actors who help bring these stories to life. We have a link to the entertainment fund in the description. Please, if you're able, donate to that. Support these laborers who are trying to make historic change in Hollywood. So yeah, here we are. We're going to be doing call-ins. I'm going to put the link to join the episode to call in the chat in a moment. I love these first two episodes. I apologize for the stream being a little bit later than I would have hoped. I was running late myself. Taylor and I went out to dinner before the episode. My original plan, because I was supposed to work today, I was supposed to close. So as far as I was concerned, I was still going to be watching Ahsoka at Dark 30, and then I was dead set on bringing food home from work to sit down and then watch the 2-part premiere. And that way I didn't have to do that because my boss was like, "Hey, don't worry about coming in today." So we decided to just go out and get dinner. So we were in a little bit late with that, but we're here now. These first two episodes were incredible. I love the tone of from the outset of these first couple episodes. And yeah, we're gonna jump right in to some conversation. We have some patrons in the back already, and we're just gonna jump right into it. So first things first, we got Ray. How's it going?
Oh, hey, Jared, can you hear me?
Loud and clear, my friend.
All right. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm glad. I'm coming off of these first two episodes. How you feeling?
Great. Hey, I love this. Oh gosh, so much.
So, what coming off of this? What was your what's your takeaway off the top so far?
I don't know. My favorite part has been Sabine in this. Like Sabine really shined. Like the actress's name, Natasha. I'm not sure quite how to say the last name, but
I'll bring somebody else in, a fellow patron and Epic Confrontations Commissioner, Eli. How do you pronounce her name? Natasha
Lubordizzo is how I've been saying it. Yeah, but let's go.
Lubordizzo. Okay, yeah, but no, she was phenomenal in this episode. She was like the highlight for me.
Natasha's an absolute scene stealer. I'm fascinated by the direction that Sabine's character might be going in. And already off the top, we're starting to get some answers that we've had, or answers to questions that we've had going into the show. Something I believe I was in the comments of Star Wars Explained video talking about like my interpretation of Force sensitivity not too long ago, and I think that I feel kind of validated in it, that there's kind of a bell curve, like there's some people have that like higher midi-chlorian count that kind of give that out the gate things are kind of cranked up to 11, and you kind of get into the talent versus skill differential. And what I was very interested in hearing is that conversation between Hu Yang and Sabine, where Hu Yang's like, yeah, like you have a very minimal baseline connection to the Force. And I think it's interesting that might have been a stopping like a block that Sabine ran into that kept her from wanting to fully pursue the Jedi arts, is not being able to grasp her Jedi powers as naturally and easily as Ezra did. And I think it creates an interesting conflict for her, that because she was surrounded by obviously Kanan never finished his training proper, but somebody who was a trained Jedi, and then somebody who was a natural talent, that when she gets up to bat, whenever she steps up to the plate and it's time for her to start training, that like, because it's harder for her to just immediately grasp these concepts and these talents, that she finds herself lacking and gets in her own head about it. And I think that's a very fascinating direction it takes Sabine moving forward. And I'm very excited to get inside of Sabine's head and see where she's at. I love the devil may care attitude. The governor from Rebels trying to introduce her, which that was such a great surprise. That was a wonderful.
I was shocked. I was so shocked, and I'm not going to send that name.
What'd you say?
I said I'm not going to be saying that name.
What is his name? I can never remember how to say it.
Oh, I'm not going to say it, because why would I when I could write a question for it?
Oh, you're an asshole. That was Eli went. Jared can't remember his name, so I'm not gonna ingratiate him.
No, I literally pointed at the screen when they were talking about like a code, the code transmitted to the New Republic ship. I'm like, that's a question. Am I going to write that question? Probably not. But that part of my brain is uncontrollably turned on at all times. And I'll tell you, it's Ryder Azadi.
Thank you. I always want to put the N and say Anzadi, and I'm like, that's a different thing. But no, I do really love where we pick up with Sabine here. It does really feel, I hesitate to call it Rebel Season 5. I think it's a little reductive to go to that place. Yeah. However, I do love the way that we are. It's not like we're picking up where we left off, and I'm glad we're not. I'm glad that it has been so long, and now these characters feel so wildly different, because they should. It's just like the sequel trilogy. Like, it would have been weird if we picked up and Han was like, still Han, like he is. I mean, and in many
that's
ways,
the thing. Han is still Han. That's the whole point of his arc, is that he hadn't changed that much. The galaxy's changed, but I see what you're saying with like Leia and Luke. They have changed. Luke, so much,
and I mean, and there are elements like there is more of a sobering element to Han in the sequels, and there's something happening here with that as well. Like, we got glimpses of it in the Mandalorian, but we see that we have a way more war-weary Ahsoka Tano. And I find that fascinating in and of itself. And I'm just so fascinated by her. The fact that it seems like, it's clear that she's been doing some weird, like, magical special ops stuff for the New Republic. And I think that is really fascinating. I think that is one of the coolest elements introduced in the episode. Is that like whenever we see her hunting down Morgan Elsbeth in the Jedi in season 2 of The Mandalorian, it feels like that she is aware of something going on with Thrawn that she will now have to bring to the attention of the New Republic, and that's still what's happening here. But like, it seems like she's been working with the New Republic this whole time. That like there's something up and I need to go take care of it. And there is no like, hey, like, I know you were Fulcrum at one point or another, but like, you're not about that life anymore, and at the very least, they're skipping any like pretense with trying to keep Ahsoka at arm's length. But yeah, no, I'm very fascinated from the outset of like what the lay of the land is. You have a war weary Ahsoka, you have a Sabine who's very much military brass, in a bigger way than she once was. You have this devil may care Sabine. Hugh Yang is a fucking delight. Speaking of people who were delight, Buck is here. He's not twinning with me, even though he could be.
I just got out of the shower. I was twinning with you. I will send photos.
Oh, I believe it. You gotta put them in the Facebook group. For those of you who don't know, I recently Roosevelt's pilled both of the people on the bus. I've Roosevelt's pilled everybody on this screen, if I'm not mistaken. Because Ray, didn't you leave a comment on an episode recently saying you bought a shirt or two?
Absolutely. I have a couple of Disney shirts now.
Yeah,
my power grows. My power grows.
I've shared it publicly, but I do have the crawl Roosevelt's now.
Yeah, you have that one.
Nice.
Buck and I both have the summer snips.
Yep.
It came today. It arrived today.
Yeah, good timing.
We got our mail, and I was so.
Speaking about a crawl, by the way.
Yes,
I love the new crawl, by the way.
Hell yeah! I saw it. I'm like, oh, he's going there. He's doing a crawl for this.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, all right, let's do this.
I like the idea of not doing the saga film crawl, like doing a crawl, but just not doing the same one. Like I like that.
I think that the idea of trying to like work around how one does a crawl, like without doing a crawl, I think is really interesting. I don't know if I like the Ahsoka crawl or the Ahsoka not a crawl or the Solo not a crawl more. But I like that it's becoming a thing that we're going to keep, doing it without doing it. It makes me very happy. Ray, we've been kind of going for a minute. I want to make sure you get your time before I keep trying to cycle people through. Is there anything else about the episode you want to jump directly into here? Or is this going to be our Sabine love train moment?
Also just wanted to throw some Huang love in there too. I thought he was great. I mean, I love David Tennant from Doctor Who and everything.
Yes, big ups. You got Frank Janish in the chat, Yang Gang all day. I had
so many of these moments with Ahsoka where if somebody had told me just 2 years ago what I was going to be seeing in this show, I would have laughed right in their face because it sounds impossible. And one of the things is like if somebody had told me that Ahsoka's first line in the show 2 years ago was going to be Hu Yang, we found it, I'd be like, okay, very funny. Let's move on.
Eli's already writing trivia.
Oh, you missed it. He already was talking about how like the codes that were exchanged between.
Oh yeah, I literally heard the codes that were transmitted from Ahsoka to the shuttle.
1974.
There was a decimal in there, and I'm like, I'm not going to write it, but I'm like, that's a question. Once you turn on the part of the brain, you can't turn it off.
Something 369 down one time, Fulcrum. But no, I love Yu Yang. It's a very fun like style of humor. It doesn't feel like we've gotten the same droid twice in the new canon.
I agree.
And Hu Yang, if there's like, I feel like you could make like a political compass type thing, but for like droid personalities, like nothing to do with politics, but like the same like mapping function of like, I'm not sure how you would describe you'd split it up, but like somewhere there's like sarcastic, sassy, like, like highly analytical, very cantankerous, and like non-sentient. And I love that Hu Yang is like not quite on like he's not like radically bitchy like K2SO, who's just Chopper, like well like Chopper's grumpy. Like he's
eternal grump.
Yeah, he's an eternal. He's like,
but like, did you go through my stuff? Yes, you did.
Oh my god! Like I know people love to talk about how you can tell what Chopper's saying. Chopper was just speaking in this episode.
Yeah, he really was.
Cho-
My
Sarah,
best
did
friends
you
were
go
talking
through
about
my
that.
Chopper was a
stuff?
vibe in this episode, and I love that for him. I was just looking up on Wikipedia because I want to make sure this is the first time we've seen Hu Yang since 2012.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because he was only in that one arc, right?
Yeah, I was like, I was like, there's no way he was just in that one arc, right?
Mm-hmm.
It
He's
was
been
only
name
that.
dropped. He's been name dropped
barely
in other
after the first
canon
episode.
material, but like
I
this is the
looked
first
at
time
that
he's been
too.
on
He's been
screen.
name dropped. He's only actually ever appeared in a flashback in a comic, and then a short story, which was based off an episode of the Clone Wars.
Right.
Like actually, there's been
Is that
mentions
when
of him
they-
in other places.
Is that when they dropped the tidbit about him having like the rumor of him being found in a blue box?
That was in Master
Yeah.
and Apprentice, I believe.
Oh, okay. I couldn't remember where. I knew it was in one
I
of the
forget
stories.
exactly where it was, but yeah,
It's a good year to
whole,
be a
like,
David Tennant fan, right? Like we just got done with
I
Good
saw that.
Omens season
Who was
2. We
it?
have this Doctor Who 60th is coming up. I mean, if you're a David Tennant fan, yes, this is a year for you.
Charlie Ashby said something very, very similar. I think he tweeted it about it being a great year for David Tennant. I think you like. I obviously haven't seen that tweet because I think you like just repeated it verbatim. Like
I was my own thought. So.
accidentally. Yeah. Yeah, no. Yeah.
But yeah, no, no, I do really like Hu Yang's very specific personality and sense of humor.
Gave me a little bit of like snarky Spock vibes, especially when he dropped the line about being logical, and I was like, okay,
Yeah.
I like
So
that
like
a lot. I really like that moment, and it's there is very much like a trope and a stereotype that I think is a little tired of like the like of oh I'm not crude, I'm logical, and but like Hu Yang has enough heart and is like there is a
Amazing.
sincere dedication to the order and the Jedi arts that like he just kind of feels like a fun grandpa of a droid who's also like a martial arts junkie.
Yeah.
He can kick your ass with just his legs.
Yeah, absolutely. And oh man, I am very fascinated by the direction like a lot of the lightsaber stuff could go. My favorite thing about Star Wars is the fact that I don't think there is a fictional weapon that is better at describing, better at creating visual metaphor for characters in the lightsaber. I think that there is something deeply beautiful and unique to Star Wars. You can look at a character's lightsaber and learn almost everything you need to know about their character in many ways.
And then it is exemplified in the conversation that Hu Yang has with Ahsoka later about who's, like I've only ever seen someone build a lightsaber like this once, one other time in 500 years. So
exactly,
like,
yeah. And I think
Also, I was just thinking about this, and I don't know, maybe Dave's gonna walk over this one, but which is fine. But Hu Yang was because of the whole blue box thing. He was created over 25,000 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So only 500 years.
Well, he's saying he's only seen one other person build a lightsaber like that.
In the last 500. I guess I see what you're saying.
So there's still some wiggle room in there to still be.
I guess he's saying like
years old.
if there's somebody who could possibly be around still. Yeah. Okay.
Well, I think he's just saying like within that this is the first lightsaber he's seen that has this design within 500 years.
Yeah.
And I do like Balin's lightsaber a lot. Shouts out to Frank Janish of Scoundrels Inc. In the chat, the pictures he took at San Diego Comic-Con there was like a close-up of a lot of the lightsaber hilts. Balin's kind of has that like kind of oblong, like very Kyle Katarn, like it's slightly longer than a normal lightsaber, kind of look to it,
that.
and it's kind of heftier. And like again, like it just says so much about him, like in terms of like Star Wars villains and Dark Jedi that we've encountered. There's something really interesting about the fact that like he is lamenting the fact that it will most likely come down to them having to kill Ahsoka Tano.
Yeah, that was actually maybe the most interesting part of that character was when he went a shame. I'm like, maybe his feelings about the Jedi aren't as negative as we all assume them to be. And I think that the whole like the very like orange saber thing, and with Dave being like, that's a very intentional in the very Dave way that he does. I'm interested to see. I still hold the theory, like many people do, that he and Shin are trying to be gray Jedi, but then they're going to realize
I do like that
there's
idea.
no gray.
I do like that idea. Part of me loves the idea because it will give us a chance to not only be like, okay, you want Gray Jedi, here's Gray Jedi. And in this story,
here's why they don't work.
Exactly why. This is not how the Force works. This concept runs directly into the whole point of the story that's being told. Like all the Gray Jedi stuff, like it's why Kyle Katarn is such a difficult character for me, because I do love Kyle and I do love his journey, but like his journey does boil down to you can use both sides of the Force. And
but then there's the infamous an ability isn't good or bad, it's how you use it, which
that was throughout all of Legends, right? Like that was Jason Solo's.
Oh yeah,
thing, right?
Great example to start with. Somebody who definitely had a handle on not turning to the dark side.
I mean, he did really good for like 15 years, and then
Jason was
great until he wasn't.
Jason Solo had that galaxy brain moment, and then he went the exact wrong way with it.
But no, with the lightsaber stuff, you do have like the uniqueness that we're already starting to see with Baylan. We have this idea of like Ezra's legacy of like quote unquote giving his life, because like the galaxy at large has accepted the idea that Ezra Bridger is gone, and that everybody's like, yeah, Thrawn and Ezra died. They died saving Lothal, or Ezra died saving Lothal, killing Thrawn.
And even if they didn't, that's what he intended to do. So
right,
yeah. So the whole idea of with Hu Yang being like oh, your lightsaber, she goes, no, it's Ezra's, and he goes, no, you've modified it and he gave it to you.
Also,
yours.
Also, by the way, I want to do a subtweet at all the people who are like, it's Anakin's lightsaber. Star Wars just proved you wrong on that one.
Man. But I hope that in the future, if they do merchandise, if they do label it as Sabine's lightsaber.
Yeah, no, I mean, you can also like, be very, particular with it. Be like, when it has like the weird kind of slanted, smaller Jarod to Paul style emitter, and like the extra kind of like slatty switch, then it's Sabine's, and when it's a little more Obi-Wan looking, it's Ezra's. I do like the idea that Ezra will get a third lightsaber. Cool. And I said this not too long ago. I don't remember if I said it on here or Scoundrels Inc. I don't think it's beyond possibility that Ahsoka gets new weapons in this show. Every time she shows up in a new thing, she gets new toys. That is a.
Is that where we get the staff?
Maybe. I would be opposed to a light pike. Also, Frank again, who took the pictures of the hilts. It was labeled Sabine's at San Diego. So There you go there. It's kind of that push is already starting to happen. I am really interested. Pardon me. Again, like I said, we're kind of going down the Ray Clausen Sabine rabbit hole here up top. I am really interested in where this whole narrative of her kind of latent but not fully realized Force sensitivity is leading her. That like, I'm glad that up top they just got out of the way.
You're not very strong on the Force.
It's like like you hit that, you crossed that threshold barely.
Mm-hmm.
There's the line from, and I have the dialogue pulled up here that was about Sabine in Trials of the Darksaber, where Hera goes, or maybe because she doesn't have the Force, you don't believe she can do this. And then Kanan says, no, the Force resides in all living things, but you have to be open to it. Sabine is blocked. Her mind is conflicted. She's so expressive and yet so tightly wound. And then Hera answers, Mandalorian.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, I think that the idea that like, anybody can like tap into the Force and use it to influence their destiny. Like the Hera with the Bad Batch. Flying it's about a feeling. Did you know that flying is about a feeling? I think that's the Force in some way, shape, or form. Do I think that Hera can use that power like to do all the stuff that Jedi can? Probably not. But I think that like I think that like is to borrow a turn of phrase from you, Jared, that I hear you using a lot. Is Sabine capital F Force sensitive? No. But does she have a connection to the Force? Absolutely.
Well, actually, I'm kind of coming around on that with how it's been being depicted here. The way so my interpretation of like how beings interact with the Force is that Jarod Imwe, for example, in Rogue One, I would not say that he is like quote unquote, thank you, honey, capital F. Oh, knocking over Cookie Cop. He fell. Scotty did it again.
Not the first time, I was about to say.
Yeah. Jarod Imwe is not like capital F Force sensitive, but I think he has let himself open to the Force just as much as I think anybody who is not trained in the ways of the Force can. And because of that, he is able to tap into it in some way. I think Sabine, not dissimilarly to like Obi-Wan in Legends, is like kind of at the low end of like that weird bell curve, that like there is, you have your people like your Anakins or your Windus or your Sidious's or, Bane, who were just born powerful in the Force, who have a high midi-chlorian count, who are just kind of great without a whole lot of training. And then when you train them, they're a fucking, they're Force God. I think Sabine is the other end of that spectrum where she is, just barely Force sensitive. And then you factor in all of those kind of mental blocks that Kanan sensed in her. And then you arrive at somebody who's like not quite able to get the job done with the Force at first. And I think it discourages her.
They definitely do a good point of reiterating throughout Rebels and even in these last two episodes of Ahsoka of how stubborn she is. So of course she's gonna resist the Force whenever, right? Like I think she has a hard time giving up control.
I'm just still skeptical about her Force sensitivity. And again, if it is revealed to be true, I'm gonna go fully on board with it. But like, I kind of treated like that thing with like, oh, she doesn't have it the way Ezra does. I interpret it differently. I'm like, oh, so she's not like I'm not sure if we're gonna see Sabine like pulling an object to her.
See, I think we're building to that. I think we're building to her just like yoinking her lightsaber back to her hand.
Mm-hmm.
And if that happens,
I think they sort of tease something happening between her and Shin in one of the trailers, right? Like, you have no power, right? And she puts her hand up. Like, I think they are kind of teasing that there's going to be a moment, even if it's not that moment, that there will be a moment where she uses the Force in an overt way.
I just want to briefly respond. Cappy, hey, listen. You're not going to find anybody on the internet who mourns the loss of Qui-Gon Jinn more than I. However, Qui-Gon did not get immediate medical attention, and I think Qui-Gon got stabbed somewhere that would be a whole lot harder to heal than kind of like in the belly.
That stab was very like Shin's stab for Sabine was very like.
It was intended to disable her. Yeah,
it was glancing. Like, yeah, it was.
Well, she ran her through. I'm not going to call that a glancing blow. But
no,
like,
I know, but like it was like
in the belly as opposed to getting like through the diaphragm.
Yeah, yeah. Like, but Qui-Gon's was like heavy duty. Like, there's not a lot of
It
comeback.
was a kill shot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shin
no,
was like, I just
remember
want to end this fight.
Seeing that at the end, I'm like, oh no, they're gonna kill Sabine in Ep1. I'm like, oh, they can't do that.
I was like, what is all that extra footage? Did they film like 2
yeah.
shows just to trick us?
Hey,
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Listen, I don't know who all here watched Secret Invasion, but like whenever they tried to do the Gaia death fake out, everyone was like, yeah, but there's that shot of her holding Talos when he inevitably dies. And that shot is not in the fucking show.
No.
It was a fake out. Gaia did not die, but that shot was not in the show.
Yeah. No, but I will say that is my one thing, and God, I love these 2 episodes. I just want to say that up front.
100%.
Like
I had almost no issues with these.
The adrenaline is still going.
Mm-hmm.
The adrenaline is still going. It's the most excited I've been about Star Wars since spring of last year, and that is saying something for me, because I'm always excited about Star Wars, but like really, a Star Wars show has not excited me this much personally since Kenobi.
I'll be honest. I don't think I've been excited for anything Star Wars since probably Clone Wars season 7.
I don't know.
Like I've enjoyed a lot of things, but like I don't think I've been this excited.
I think different projects put our excitement in perspective in many ways.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I was a different kind of excited for Kenobi than I am for The Mandalorian. You know what I mean? Like The Mandalorian, I walked into like, oh, I'm not like excited for this, but it's the first live action Star Wars TV show. Like this is gonna be great.
Yeah, that's my thing. It's like,
and then it became, and then it like changed me as a person, and I cannot watch Din and Grogu be on screen together for very long before I start crying immediately.
Being able to rewatch episodes of with Ahsoka in them before these episodes dropped, I rewatched The Jedi and just being like seeing him and Grogu's connection and learning Grogu's name and all that. I was just like, oh, I forgot how much I loved Din and Grogu together, and not knowing the future of those 2 characters is sad.
I think we're going to see him this season.
Oh, I just say,
or at least
this
season,
don't know. Maybe
we just don't know.
I don't know. Like I'm going to be. People like Din and Grogu are actually similar to somebody like Zeb to me in this season. Like there are universes where I see us getting an episode with Din and Grogu, and there are also universes where I see us not getting it. And it's not for any like malicious reason. It's just like the fact that, and this is something I was very worried about going into the show. Not very worried about. Like I know there were worries about this, but I believed that Dave was going to be able to handle this. This show has so much to get to.
Yeah.
Like there's so much that has to go on in this show.
We have to go to an entirely different galaxy.
So put a pin in that.
That was before we knew about that.
So I want to put a pin in that because I do want to ask Ray. Ray, where do you stand on the Sabine Force sensitivity stuff?
I think she's got it. I have to agree with you, Jared, that I think we're gonna get a moment where she like pulls a lightsaber towards her or something like that. That's just kind of the feeling I'm getting.
All right. So I wanted to get your opinion on that because I know you were excited about the Sabine stuff. And again, guys, I put the link to join the stream in the chat for anybody who wants to join us as well. I'm going to start cycling through people once you start to get new guests. But so you do want to talk about the elephant in the room. My poor girlfriend, poor sweet Taylor, had to put up with me like mumbling and swearing under my breath when the like something different galaxy, and I was like, oh, you motherfuckers better not be doing what I think you're doing. Oh, you sons of fucking bitches, don't you bring the Yuzong motherfucking Vong, don't you fucking dare. Like I became so uncomfy.
I don't think that's what he's doing, but I would not be mad.
I don't think that's what he's doing either. But the moment they were like, "Oh yeah, another galaxy," I just went, "Oh no. Like it's a."
I remember.
I got excited. I got
remember
really excited.
I had read a leak or two that was talking about like other galaxies and stuff like that. I'm like, that's stupid. That's not going to happen in the show. And then he went there. I'm like, okay, that's happening in this show.
Yeah, shouts out Form 1 Sabine.
Oh yeah, by the way, I said out loud with that duel, I'm like, Jared, you got to put Shin in versus series now.
Oh man, I'm excited to see. Man, okay, first of all, $5 patrons, you get access to the Knights of the Nerd Republic versus series. And let me tell you, Ahsoka is about to just run right through.
It's so
the
great.
versus
It's so
series
great.
next
We get
year.
lightsaber duels again. We get the magic sword fights. I couldn't be happier.
I'm watching it. I'm like, okay, like I'm gonna be able to do an updated Ahsoka thing. Oh, Balin. I'm definitely gonna have to add Balin. Probably Shin. Merrick is it's definitely fucking going in there. And just talk about Merrick.
Merrick, who, by the way,
I hope he's not cannon fodder. I hope he just doesn't just die, right? Like
Merrick, who, by the way, I just want to say is extremely not eighth brother.
Yes.
I mean, yeah.
I'm so freaking glad because Jared, one of my biggest pet peeves in Star Wars is and I say this even though I got this character in Galaxy of Heroes a few days ago, and yes, he's been helping me immensely, but
Maul.
Yeah. Can't stand when characters come back from the dead. It's my one thing.
I don't know what the problem is. I don't.
There's
it doesn't happen very often in Star Wars, although we say it does. It doesn't happen as often as everyone says.
I think it's the fact that like it's been incredibly notable characters.
It's been very like and there are a few exceptions. Controversially, of course, my one is that I actually like Palpatine's, and I also feel fine with Boba's, but
Boba's open ended. I don't consider Boba Fett being a quote unquote someone coming back from the dead because in the EU and because of like old legend stuff, we as Star Wars fans like went into the new canon going, okay, Boba Fett is dead with an asterisk. We don't know yet for sure if he came back out of it because he did it once, he can do it again. We don't fucking know.
Yeah, but
you also think of like if anyone could come out of a Sarlacc pit, it's gonna be
Boba Fett. Yeah,
it's like
but Maul, like I'm not gonna rant about it. You'll know that I don't like that decision. People like Gregor in when he came back in Rebels in the Bad Batch, like that dude got blew up. They got blown up, and they made a joke about not explaining it in the Bad Batch, and I love that show, but I'm like, come on.
I mean, he didn't actually come. I mean, we knew he was back because he was in Rebels, so we knew that before.
No, I know. I'm talking about it, but
yeah.
Cappy, no disrespect to you at all. I'm not sure of your pronouns. So I didn't want to say my guy in case that would not be something you would want to hear. But Cappy, respectfully, I have no idea what the fuck you're talking about.
Yeah, what is a donut?
Is there a little a little ring somewhere on her sword? I'm not sure. Frank, if you're still watching, send me a picture of Shin's
Shin's saber,
of Shin's fucking donut saber.
Yeah.
Respectfully, I have no idea what you mean. But no, and I do understand all that, and I am glad it's not the eighth brother.
Yeah.
But
because that guy fell. That guy fell hard.
I will say I noticed that that guy fell less height than Kanan, Ezra, and Ahsoka did. Like 30 minutes before
Frank
that.
was quick with it.
Kanan, Ezra, and Ahsoka literally fell from like twice the height that he did.
Yes, but the difference between the eighth brother and Kanan, Ahsoka, and Ezra were? The eighth brother was expendable, and Kanan and Ezra and Ahsoka.
Right, but I'm just like,
okay, I see what Cappy's talking about. There's like a circular handguard at the neck of the sword, and
isn't that just standard? Like, not standard. I know she's not, but like, isn't that just kind of like stuff like Inquisitors have?
It's very. They're talking about Shin as opposed to like.
No, I know, but like,
it's very. It looks like the base of where the blade is at on a katana, basically.
Interesting.
Which I think it's an interesting design choice all around. I love the saber designs. No, real quick though. I don't know what we were talking about before when we got fully sidetracked. That brought us into the Eighth Brother stuff with Merrick. Let me just say,
I was just rejoicing that he wasn't the eighth brother.
same. Spoilers for Ionized Bastards. If you haven't seen season 1, mute me for a little bit, or go watch all of it right now. It's only
It'll only take you about like 7 hours
ish. And it's early. I don't know how I feel about the fact that how I envisioned Inquisitor Faben just fully exists in live action as a character who's not Faben Martell.
Oh, who's Merrick?
Yeah, that is exactly what Inquisitor Faben looked like in my mind.
With
Like,
the cape and everything.
The asymmetrical cape, the helmet, like the armor, like that was like, yeah. I like the armor obviously would have been.
And
like
he works as a
little
mercenary
shiny.
for hire for some shady people. God damn it.
Faben and Balin are just, or I'm sorry, Merrick and
Merrick.
Balin are both just so deeply Faben Martell coded, and it drives me a little crazy. And I just need the world to know. Check the dates on Ionized Bastards.
I did this first.
I did it first. I did this exact flavor of character before Mr. Cowboy Hat got to it.
Well, at least before you put it out there publicly.
I was going to say, I'm like, we don't really know how long he's been sitting on this character.
I mean, you're right, but still.
Also, by the way, speaking of the villains, I want to pause for a second just to say this. The episode end of the Cappy. Have you played Jedi Survivor? If not, I'm not going to spoil anything. Anyway, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah,
if you haven't played it yet, don't get too ahead of yourself.
Yeah. The end of the first episode, fade to black to our friend Ray.
It was really sad.
He's fantastic. He's so
really
good,
is.
and I'm so heartbroken that he's gone now, so that he can't see how much love there is among the fan base for.
Right.
He's
been in so many wonderful things, and then the fact that like he was Argar Saxon.
He was Argar Saxon. Both the young, sexy Gar Saxon and the older one.
Ray Stevens' performance so far. Woodsy, I'm gonna address your comment in a minute. I was like getting ready to do it, and then Eli started talking very seriously about Ray Stevenson, and I thought better of it. He hasn't had much screen time yet, and he's already just so enthralling of a character.
I have so many questions. I'm very curious to see what his character arc will be. Like, I love it.
It's a great part of Star Wars for me, and I think that it's something that Dave does very well. Is that I went in with quite a few questions, and then he answered them, a lot of them, and then he provided about 4 times as many questions.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what great Star Wars creators do.
One of the beautiful things I think about this show is that and the way that Dave writes is the way that he does, and I think he does it better than they did in the sequels. Is like providing history between the characters without and giving us a sense of what their history is without giving us the entire backstory of like what they've been doing the last 9 years, right? Like it's been almost like about a decade, we can assume, right, between Rebels and now. And
I think Azadi says like it was like 7 years. Isn't that what he says?
I don't remember that, and I
don't.
During the dedication to the mural. Or during the dedication.
I think it was. I was freaking out too much about the fact that Clancy Brown was on screen.
Clancy Brown is just there.
Vinny Thomas was right behind him, and then he was Jai Cal.
Vinny Thomas was Jai Cal.
I was like, what?
Jai Cal in live action. Mm-hmm. That guy, and as the New Republic senator for Lothal.
This is my reaction to that information.
What is this?
This is Shakti. This is Shakti.
Everybody just soak in Shaq tea. Take a beat. Breathe
I
it
have
in.
never seen this.
Charlie,
You
this was
have,
my
but
birthday
okay.
present from Charlie Ashby. This is my birthday present. Actually, you have seen it, Buck. It is the icon for the Discord server we are in.
It's
Yeah,
so
I
tiny.
was-
I don't know.
Yeah,
I had no idea.
it's so
Yeah,
tiny
that's
you
Shaq
can't tell
tea.
how
That's
fucking
Shaq
I had
fast
no
it
idea
is.
what it was.
Long story short, we were doing our Jedi Council versus bracket. It was a live stream I wanted to do right before my the day before my birthday, and fucking somebody made a joke because Shakti came up and started saying Shaq T, and I said, Charlie, I know you're in the chat.
Do your worst.
Do your worst.
And he did.
He was fucking
He
quick
so
with
did.
it too. Mans was they don't got the blickies in the United Kingdom, but Mans was quick on the draw, and he emailed that to me post haste. It was wonderful.
love it.
But yeah, no, I do love these villains so much already. I'm excited to see where Shin's head is at. You know, like
She seems like a good balance and foil to Sabine.
yeah.
Right? Both kind of
Yeah.
headstrong, wanting to do more. Master's not
Wanting
quite.
to prove herself.
Yeah.
I'm interested in Shin specifically because, and I had this prediction from before because I'm like, I don't think that that she's quite old enough to have been a Jedi before.
No.
And that
No.
intrigued,
She definitely
and
looks-
yeah, and of course that was confirmed in the show. And that intrigues me greatly because how the hell did Balin find her? And how the hell did he convince her to join him?
Mhm.
And I'm not sure that those questions are going to be exactly on point answered, but like answered in the show. But I am interested to just generally like look into, you know, what is this person who probably didn't even grow up with the Jedi, you know, has, or even if she did, probably has very little real perception of them. And now she's, you know, following her master, and now there's this Night Sister.
Right.
That's what I wanted to talk about.
She calls a witch, right?
Who
Morgan,
she calls
like
witch. By the way,
We-
by the way, let's F's in the chat for that one freaking costume designer in the Mandalorian season 2 for revealing that Elsbeth was a Night Sister like 3 years before. It was actually
there's
revealed.
that, but also, if I remember correctly, Ian Convery, who is the beloved wife of Dave Filoni, had a story in that Clone Wars anthology book
Bug.
yes,
Bug that alluded to Morgan Elsbeth being a Night Sister potentially, if I remember correctly. It was
I
like
don't think
1,000
that
years ago. There was
came out-
something.
I only read it once. I don't remember.
There was something about something Ian Convery wrote that had to do with the Night Sisters that somehow potentially looped back to Morgan Elsbeth. I remember that being in the discourse. I can't remember how and in what way because it's been so long.
You like it on that?
No, I'm looking at it right now because I don't think that had been revealed in.
I'm not saying it was
Mando yet.
revealed. I'm not saying it was revealed. I'm saying Mando happened, then this book comes out, and this book alludes to this thing, and then now we finally.
No,
get
I'm saying the
full-on-
book. I think the book came out before Mando did.
I don't think it did.
I don't think it did.
Let's check. I'm checking.
But of course, I forget
Yep.
which.
It did.
Which book?
It did come out after this book did.
He's lying. Don't listen to him.
But I
months
think it's
ago.
interesting is again talking about like how they provide a lot of history and give the sense of history of these characters. Like I was surprised at the weight of history they give to Morgan. You know, like saying that she had been set up on Corellia. She clearly had been a someone of import that they clearly had issues with through the years, and the fact that like Ahsoka goes to find her, you know, like later and captures her, and that was
That was actually something that I was interested in with Morgan is that I was really, I was expecting, Balin was going to break her out and she was going to be like, who the hell are you? But the fact that they already know each other, the fact that they have had this plan formulating for quite some time, it seems, is very fascinating.
Yeah, I was interested by that as well. I just, again, like the chemistry of all of our antagonists is something that I think is going to end up being one of the big strengths of the show. Also, I know she didn't go like full like Marin style Night Sister magics. But how fucking crazy is it that we got to see like green ichor flame
Right. Well, the
in live action? That's even just a
was-
little bit. Just
her
a little
hologram
bit.
is even a little Night Sister, which
Oh yeah, with the
way
the
it comes down.
grains moving and
Yeah, it was very, but like it came down almost in like a green. I mean, I might have been making this up, but like a little bit of like a green light before it like resolved into.
No, yeah, there was definitely like a little bit of a flourish as it was coming in. It was very Dune, and I think that's like there, it felt that like Star Wars has a very particular style and like aesthetic, and I think a lot of it comes from the fact that it is space fantasy. I'm weird about that. I don't like calling Star Wars science fiction.
Oh no, I don't either.
I don't because I don't think it is. I don't. It's not a slight against Star Wars. I think it's just a matter of like the principles of what Star Wars is trying to do.
Yeah.
It is not trying to like foretell a future. It's a long time ago. It's trying to be a fairy tale in space. It is trying to be Arthurian legend and medieval lore of from across our real world, like reinterpolated into like a space fantasy.
It took the Arthurian Campbellian mythology and just said, what if we get as epic as we can, like in scale, and go like to the entire galaxy, the entire universe,
I want to answer Paco's question. No, I do
I
not
would say no, absolutely not. No,
I think they make a very good point of making it clear that
I
he's in the other galaxy with Thrawn, and if he's alive, it seems like it because
I think he's going to be alive, and I think that he's. I don't think they're going to do that. I think that Ezra had too much of an arc of choosing the light in Rebels for them to turn him dark.
Woodsy, I think you forgot a number there. I think it'll be no less than $139.99.
Oh, I was gonna say I thought you were gonna put another 9 there and go $399.99.
Yeah, that'll probably be more accurate.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think Eli's pulling the real number there. Just pulling up some more comments. Just Java on the other side.
Java on the other side.
Actual Java no blada.
Just the corpse.
Oh no.
No, Eli, fuck you. Jabba's alive.
Jabba's alive.
I think I would actually break something.
Yeah.
That one, I think I would actually side with Eli on that one because I'm like
the breaking something would for me would honestly be if Merrick was Ezra. Like, no, can't do that.
If Merrick is Ezra and or Galen Merrick, I would be mad. I'm like, no.
You want to hear? This is like tangentially related. You want to hear like a very silly nitpick?
Okay.
I cannot believe the self-destruct function on a handful of droids.
Oh yeah, that was something.
Like a fucking nuke went off.
Yeah. I'm
like I understand like there's like 5 of them, so it'll be a pretty big blast. But there was like a mushroom cloud and like everything's lifting off the ground. Like holy Christ!
Yeah,
but, like, the destruction that they did was not that. Like when you go back, it didn't look that much different than before the bomb.
Yeah, everything was just kind of collapsed. It was like
okay.
Yeah,
like kaboom.
Maybe it was a different kind of bomb that we don't know about or something like that.
Oh, sure. I mean, you could be like, it's like you set off 6 thermal imploders at the same time, and all hell's gonna break loose. I'll buy it. I have no problem.
Sabine, what's going on there?
Yeah,
our explosives expert. She's an artist, an explosive expert, and latent Jedi. I love it.
And an expert mechanic.
Woman, truly.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do want to talk a little bit about some of the fights we did get to see. just because y'all know me, I'm a lightsaber junkie. It's my jam.
Did we talk about the fight against the droids there at the beginning?
No, we did not yet.
Like, I giggled. Like, I just giggled when she dropped back down and then started doing the circle.
Oh yeah,
balls
that
and
was
dropping them in.
fantastic.
I was like, okay, clever, very clever. That feels right.
There was a there was a very like I can almost hear James Arnold Taylor going, "All right, Anakin, you've shown off enough."
Yeah,
It was very
Annie.
yeah. I think that was a moment where you could feel shades of like her Clone War days, kind of being like,
Yeah.
"This is I'm gonna do this thing that is deeply silly, but also tactically genius."
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The
I will say
enemy
that-
never expects tomfoolery.
Yeah, I will say that is something I'm hoping for this show, and because it's interesting because I think Order 66 changes Ahsoka a lot, of course, and the Fall of the Jedi changes Ahsoka a lot, but there is sometimes a feeling of mine, and I love both versions of the character in my mind, but I feel like sometimes it does feel a little bit like Ahsoka is a different character for me, pre-66 and post-66.
I mean,
Like,
I don't think you go through several decades of war and having to do some of the darkest things, like while trying to be good to be good and not come out.
Yeah, I'm not saying that that's bad. I just like hope that because very much, and this is just me being selfish in this way because I am such a fan of Star Wars: The Clone Wars, and
we know.
I am too.
Yeah, and I want to see. Like and I'm happy with what we got. Like the very like the snarky attitude she had against Hu Yang with the whole like like well maybe if you just like parked it closer we wouldn't have the transmission problem with the comp. Like I could hear Ashley in that. And I'm hoping that her that all facets of her character get.
I think they've done a pretty good job so far.
Yeah, so far so good.
Right, but I also think if you watch it in order, like watch her arc in order, you go through and you see like the maturity and the growth, where she is a little more serious in Rebels, right? Like she still has a little bit of snark, when Rex says, in my book, experience outranks everything, and she's like, or whatever the line is, and she's like, well, in that case I outrank you because I've got more experience than you. You've been on the sidelines for a while, right?
And the wink with in Twilight of the Apprentice is classic.
Well, I mean there is that, and then you evolve into like Ahsoka circa Mando, and she's kind of got this like Ronin thing going on. And I am looking forward to seeing a marriage of her eras of a character, because I do think in many ways, like Ahsoka, like Obi-Wan and Luke before her, is going to go on this arc of like kind of reclaiming her innocence in a way, where she's going to reclaim the right and the ability to kind of be a hokey hero. In the way that like Luke and Obi-Wan kind of had to fight back to in their stories. Quick throat to that was weird. To Woodsy. I can't tell. Did Ahsoka use Shatterpoint when looking for the map in the beginning? I wouldn't quite call it Shatterpoint. It seemed like a diet psychiometry a la Cal Kestis, because she wasn't interacting with any physical objects. My girlfriend posited a very interesting idea that it was like kind of like through her connection with Sabine, she was kind of able to sense what had happened before. Similarly to how
I thought it was like a Force Echo sort of thing.
Yeah, like not quite the psychiometry area, but something akin to it. We have coming in here from Cappy. In the hospital.
Welcome to the Star Wars Rebels crew.
I mean, listen, Taylor has not watched Rebels yet.
Expert.
We're about a third of the way through Clone Wars. She's not seen Rebels yet. And whenever there was like the whole like maybe we should do this in a different place, she out loud went, "Yeah, like not a fucking hospital." And I just kind of like silently was like, "Oh, honey." These
You have no
people
idea
are-
the crazy shit they've pulled.
These
She does.
motherfuckers are crazy. These motherfuckers are out of their minds.
I
Even
love the ghost.
even
tree.
even the Jedi is fucking nuts.
I was about to
Um,
say that was one like the most minor of critiques I had about this episode. Again, nearly perfect. Loved almost everything about it. I do wish that there had been some reference, could have been throwaway, something like that, to Kanan. And the only reason I say that is like there's that look that Hera gives when she sees Ahsoka fighting Merrick and the droids down there. And it's this Jedi shit again.
well,
I want to go back and rewatch the ceremony because, like, other than Kanan being in the mural, there, I mean, so you would think that there would be a name drop.
Yeah,
From
and it's not like I need
I know
every like hand pointed at it. It's just like very much like knowing that Hera was so close and married to a Jedi would make her like intimate understanding while still not like, you know, she's still not like force sensitive herself. I think hit a little bit more.
Here's what I will say. I am okay with the fact that we did not get a name drop of Kanan Jarrus because we get such poignant moments that may as well be. Like you said with Hera very much having that like here we go with this laser sword space wizard bullshit again. Which, you know, very astute observation, Eli. And I was thinking the same thing. And just Sabine kind of following that same ritual that Kanan had before getting,
Oh yeah.
you know, like as I don't give a fuck what anybody says. Fuck a source book if it corrects me. I don't give a damn. That's Kanan's knife. That's Kanan's
Oh yeah.
knife.
Oh yeah, that's
Okay.
Kanan's knife. That's
Like,
Kanan's knife.
She's
She's sentimental. She's sentimental as fuck. Like, there's no way she didn't keep something.
I don't care what you have to retcon. She recovered that shit from the crash site of the freaking factory that exploded, and that is Kanan's goddamn knife.
Who said he brought the knife with him?
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
Who said the knife came with him?
That's true.
You,
I forgot that.
You might have to jump through a couple hoops to get his lightsaber back, but like I don't give a fuck. Like,
he cut, and then he went off, and then he did his Superman.
They recovered his lightsaber, right? Like, didn't Arinda?
I don't think so.
Didn't Arinda recover his lightsaber and give it to Thrawn? I don't know why I had that in my head.
Maybe.
I'm gonna look it up because
now,
I don't
wouldn't that be
remember
some
that.
shit if when we find Ezra, he's using Kanan's lightsaber? If
That
you're
would
right,
be fucking
You're right.
dope.
You're right, Buck. You're right.
Thank you.
I did not remember that. You're right.
Yeah.
now that would be cool.
I remember thinking, like, it's weird that wasn't destroyed, but like, he's gone, but the lightsaber isn't. Those things are fucking resilient. I don't understand how.
Oh, that's like in Legends with the whole like Darth Vader like just so happened to bring Obi-Wan's lightsaber aboard with him into his TIE Advanced when the shit hit the fan, so he could still keep it as a trophy. Because in Legends, he kept Obi-Wan's lightsaber after killing him.
Right. Okay.
But like it was like, so he brought it with him into battle. Did he think he?
I did not remember that.
It was like was Anakin just so giddy about it? He's like, "You're coming with me in the ship." He's like,
No, I'm just imagining
Yavin.
like his TIE Advance spiraling like 5 seconds after the end of New Hope, and then like a lightsaber ignites and is like as if I don't have enough problems right now.
Oh, Annie.
Oh,
he would
sorry,
be the one to have a lightsaber just randomly ignited.
Yeah. No, we're talking about when she drops down to the cavern to find the sphere. There's a stand in the middle where she puts her hand on it and unlocks it. Yeah, no, I did enjoy like the weird like force puzzle stuff. It felt very.
I think Woodsy was talking about that in terms of like the Shatterpoint stuff. Like,
perhaps. Like I said, I think that could have been Shatterpoint. I think that also could have just been like Ahsoka, just kind of like puzzling her way through it. I'm not sure. I mean, listen,
The Force works in mysterious ways.
Yeah, she might just be good at puzzles. I'm not quite sure. Man, you Cappy, come on, man. What you doing? Come on, man. You're making me go full
We don't
Brandon
need that.
here. Push-up challenge, corn pop. Y'all remember
America.
that? I got
America.
reminded of that. I got reminded of that the other day when he was at like a campaign event back in 2020, and he said, and like some guy like kind of pushed back on him, like he was like criticizing him like from the left, and Joe Biden said, "Hey, fat." Let's do a push-up. He did not say you're fat. He said, "Hey, fat." Joe Biden is a
Joe.
funny motherfucker. I know we're supposed to be talking about Ahsoka. That shit's funny. Anyway,
So,
my favorite thing, one of my favorite things that he's ever said is, and I don't even know the context of this, and you don't need to know the context of this, but he's asked a question by a reporter, and he goes, "That is an interesting reading of English."
a man with 3 brain cells firing as hard as they can will sometimes come upon the funniest shit ever constructed.
that's true.
But yeah, Buck, what were you about to say, bud?
I don't even remember. Oh no, I know we talked a little bit about like the idea of these the beings from the other galaxy, right? No, I don't. I really don't think they're going to be Yuuzhan Vong. That doesn't make sense. I think if it had been more organic, it probably would have been. But I love the idea that like the Night Sisters had this place that clearly works with this other technology, right? Like they were able to, she was able to know about it and use it. And the fact that the Night Sisters had clearly expanded more beyond Dathomir, and lending the possibility of more Night Sister stuff in the future, which I always think that like one of the missteps they constantly made during the Clone Wars was killing everybody off.
Yeah.
I will not say that's, I understand where you're coming from. I have too much. There's too much of me that freaking loves that episode of the Clone Wars.
It's good.
It's
really
one
good.
of my favorite episodes of Star Wars animated television of all time because of how absurd it is. Like I keep going back with that episode too. Like if somebody
Zombies,
if somebody
zombies.
told George Lucas in 1977 that his weird space movie would become a robot army versus a witch army,
a
going to
zombie
battle.
witch army,
a zombie witch army, going to battle, he would have been like, "Get the hell out of here!"
I know it's not even the first zombies we got in the series, right? Like,
no, there's the Geos.
Right,
Yeah.
like it's not even the first zombie.
No, I don't think it's the Vong. I think I will say that Dave does have history with the Vong.
Yes,
but I don't think that history is good enough for him to use it again.
No.
Keep it the fuck away. I don't listen.
I would be happy, but
Listen.
I know most people wouldn't, and I don't know why.
we kind of started talking about this, and that at least half of the people on this screen have ADHD. So this conversation is like,
Oh yeah.
but hey, like it's a fun kind of call in late night show that we're gonna do for Ahsoka. This isn't me trying to like structure a podcast, so it's fun like that. People have weird limits with Force, not even with Force stuff, but with Star Wars in general. Like like Star Wars as a fandom has this like very weird, particular sense of that's not it. That's not the thing.
It's different for different people. Like
it is, and people have different thresholds. For me, it is intergalactic travel. Like for me, it is we are going to leave the galaxy far, far away and go to a galaxy far, 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 far away. That's where it gets. That's where I start to get like, no, it was too much.
Well, we're doing it.
Much. I know.
I think it's going to be. I think as long as they don't do it too much, and I think that Dave's going to use it as a very pie in the sky sort of thing. Like, we don't usually do this.
It's gonna push me. It's gonna push my comfort level, and I trust
my
the
thing
hat.
is, I actually think the Vong would be
fine. I don't want to hold on to my butt.
Oh, I think the Vong.
I think the Vong would be fine for me as long as they do one thing with the Vong that I just like. That they exclude one thing with the Vong from Legends.
What's
the
that?
force, the force.
None of this. They work outside the force shit. Nope, gone.
I think
Nope.
I think it works better than the levelers. I think it works better than. I think it works better than the leveler. I'm like, yeah,
I
because
understand.
the leveler and Planet X are very much the Vong and Sonama Sakat. Like it's the same. It's the same thing. It's two sides of the same coin.
I understand. I understand your. I understand your take there, and like it makes sense. For me, as again, I also am like super behind on like Phase 2 of the High Republic.
Yeah, me too.
So, but like in general, I like the nameless more because they feel more like cosmic horror.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is for me, and yeah, it's a personal
Versus
preference.
And again, this is the case for a lot of Star Wars Legends. Is that I think there's a lot of Legends writers who, and this is not a critique necessarily, but it's an observation. They lean way more into science fiction than they
Yeah,
do
that's
into
what
space
I-
fantasy. So
that's what
when
I was
you
about to say. Yeah.
so when they go, oh yeah, well the Force is just a thing in this galaxy, that fundamentally breaks
That is-
the rules of Star Wars. Like the Nameless being like this weird, like fucking species that acknowledges the Force, but like is able to kind of rebound it onto a Force sensitive. That is terrifying.
Yeah,
Like-
they're
like, and
they're
it's-
weird with
and
the
it's-
force, but at least it's fantasy.
Yeah, they're weird in the Force, and but like it's not that it is not that the Force is null and void unto them. It's that they have a weird presence in it, as opposed to the Vong that are just like we don't even go here, so your magic doesn't work on us. That's where the Vong rubs
the
up
the
against
Vong
me.
are like the Vong. Somebody tries to use the force, and the Vong are just like, nah.
Cappy, you are fucking on one. And no, because I listen.
No.
We're gonna get our Asherad in season 2 of Kenobi pitch again.
Please no.
I would commit horrible acts to get Asherad back into the Star Wars canon. I don't know if I need him to become Darth Krayt again. I love.
I need him to become great.
Right.
That's
No,
not
but it
great.
doesn't need to be. It doesn't need to be all that. I'm like, okay. There's not really much from Legends that I'd be against. Like I love it, but that one does seem like that whole arc would be weird.
Speaking of things from Legends you'd be against, I'm pretty with you there, Buck. As long as they handle it in like a not like zany, ridiculous way that Legends often handles stuff, I'm okay with them bringing most things back. I do have one particular bone to pick with these.
Oh, hold on. Okay, here's a pitch. Hold on. Holy fuck. You do Asherad doing his weird like living for hundreds and hundreds of years bullshit.
Yeah. But he can't have the Vong stuff, so.
No, it's not the Vong. It is like the remains of like Palpatine's Sith Eternal bullshit.
Oh.
Like
yeah.
You could like he bumble fucks his way onto Exegol, finds what's left, and just starts fucking with shit. And it fucks him up.
I dig it.
Psychologically, physiologically, within the Force, it fucks him up. That's how you do Darth Krayt in Legends, and it's still Palpatine's fault.
Yep. Write that down. So people lose them. Write that shit down. I was gonna say, speaking of things in Legends, that I'm not so keen on. Did y'all hear the name for that ship that Morgan's building?
I couldn't hear it. No, I'm gonna be rewatching tomorrow with subtitles on because there was a good bit of dialogue I just did not catch.
I did, but I'm forgetting it. They said it twice.
Yeah. As soon as I saw it, I'm like, I am going to get murdered for this one, because it is called, and it brings me no joy in saying this, The Eye of Sion.
Right.
And I think They're about to make Darth Sion canon.
I think they just did.
Yeah.
We'll
Yeah.
see.
And
Real quick,
if they do that,
I just want to say, Matt, we've been live for what was it, just over an hour.
yeah.
If you want, just as a heads up, you can go back and watch this stream if you like. We're moving forward. We're going to be doing, at least for Star Wars shows that I feel more comfortable doing a live in call thing for. We're going to be doing a live call in after show after the episodes air, and then there will still be like an episode of the Knights of the Nerd Republic where we do like a more formal episode about what came out with like actual like scheduled guests and stuff and less of a shoot from the hip style. So you can double back to this stream or you can wait until Friday for when the episode proper goes up, as you were saying.
But yeah, so if the Eye of Sion happens, if Darth Sion is canon, then Alden Diaz and Michael McCoy and also Jarod are going to skin me alive because it's another part of KOTOR 2 that is being validated again. And I hate that damn game.
Well, why?
We don't have to go down there, but Treya's whole goal is to destroy the Force, which I think is just maybe the dumbest idea of all time.
I don't know. I think it's kind of fascinating.
I mean,
you were also the person who where was it? It was on the Bombast stream who was like, "Oh yeah, when Hux executing himself with Mace Windu's lightsaber is a cool bit of symbolism."
It is. Okay. Okay, little boy. Okay. First things first.
No.
Hux killing himself with Mace's lightsaber as the final during the final death rattle of the Galactic Empire in the very room where Palpatine was able to begin his quest of galactic domination, brought low with the sword of the man that he had to kill to make it happen. Yes, that is poetic. It is poetry and it rhymes, god damn it.
Okay, I see it.
Damn, I'm good. Anyway, listen, we'll see. We'll see with the Scion stuff. I don't know what to expect. It could also just be a passing reference. Lest we forget, there is a canon Darth Revan. We don't know anything about this motherfucker other than the fact that he is named Darth Revan. Same with Decimus and Phobos, which is so funny to me.
Right, I forgot Phobos was canon.
That Bane, and frankly, Bane. You know, we got the spirit of him in TCW, but that's pretty much it.
Well, yeah, but like at least Bane, there's not a whole lot of meat on the bone. With Bane, we know,
but that's it.
all we know is that Bane created the rule of two, and that is all we know. With Revan, we just know that this man had a name and existed.
That's it, and they may not even be a man.
Could be.
That's very true as well.
Yeah. Also, speaking, I want to get to one other KOTOR reference, which I was so thrilled to see that people were theorizing about. I'm so thrilled to see. That's a damn star map right there.
Yes.
And the star maps were introduced in KOTOR. They were introduced with the Star Forge, with Revan's mystical quest to find them and stuff. Right. And I was so thrilled to see them. And I was so thrilled that Dave captured them so well in my faction.
You know what? I was so just used to them being a thing that I didn't even think about it being a reference to KOTOR.
You know, I was fascinated by the idea of like going into this as we see the star map and all the marketing, right? And I was like, okay, is it like this is an important star map, or the very idea that star maps are something that is like kind of weird and esoteric, right? And then we're definitely going the esoteric route. That has been clearly decided. Also, I want to throw to another comment from Matt Rasp. You're absolutely right. It could be a tip of the cap. Absolutely. I think what Eli's getting at is just like there is the chance for them to be like leaning into some weird like prequel bullshit happening, which excites me. Don't get the way I phrase that wrong. We like prequel bullshit. but there could be some involvement with weird
Pre-High
stuff
Republic
there.
bullshit.
Yeah, pre-High Republic
Yeah.
bullshit. Well, and something that I really enjoy, whenever they went into it and they're like, we need to find a map, I did kind of roll my eyes, because I'm like,
I was afraid it was going to turn into the dagger from The Rise of Skywalker.
I don't even mind the dagger from Tross. It's just like I don't like when the thing we need is a map. I don't like when I hate using the term MacGuffin because people never use it correctly, but colloquially, I hate when the MacGuffin is a thing to find a thing to look for a thing. That makes me want to run face first into a wall. I don't love it.
They're usually not. Those stories are usually not told in a good way. Like it's clunky. It's like you're purposely making the story drawn out because you need, you need to fill it.
It's one of those
and
things
it
that
never feels right.
It's one of those things that my immediate pushback and my knee jerk is to go, okay, is there a way you could have streamlined the story without it being about finding a map? Could you have streamlined this into just getting to point X? And the fact that they're like, yeah, so like there's another fucking galaxy we're gonna have to go to pick up Thrawn, I immediately went, okay,
yeah,
we need a fucking map.
We need a map.
Yeah, I was gonna say like at least in this case, and I'm not as crazy about the whole map thing. I'm not as I don't hate it as much as I think some people do, but I'm like, yeah, they got the map in the first episode. The first mission was Ahsoka getting the map.
Yeah, I gotta move this over because I can't read it. It's too big from where I'm at.
It's spam.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's spam.
It's spam.
God, that's disappointing. It wasn't showing up. I have the YouTube version of the stream pulled up on my computer, and I have the StreamYard open in my monitor.
Yeah.
And so I couldn't read it because it was a Twitch comment, and now I wasted everybody's time by reading it.
Yeah.
But we do have another comment from Matt. I'm going to introduce a fan Sith story. Well, again, I don't think they're necessarily introducing it so much as they're just like that because Dave Filoni loves to do weird Force shit. That him going, oh yeah, and we're just gonna like dip our toe into some weird dark side shit to facilitate more Force bullshit.
Yeah, I think that
I don't think we're gonna get the fucking Sith triumvirate before October.
No, I don't think.
I say that now.
We're all gonna be eating.
Forbid.
Yes, I'm going to blame Jarod specifically if Craig gets brought into canon, because I will just absolutely lose my shit.
Eli, how deep into the Versus series have you gotten so far?
Not very far as of now.
One of our season 2 episodes you're gonna love. You know why?
I'm excited. Why?
It's Yoda versus Traya.
I'm excited! Yay! My favorite character in Star Wars beating my least favorite character in Star Wars.
I can't remember who won. It's been so
Yoda.
long.
I didn't see it.
I swear to God.
Subscribe to the $5 tier, everybody. I think we gave it to Yoda, but narrowly. That we were like, this is the fight of Yoda's life, and he's limping out of here. But
I'm tripling the difficulty of the questions on your next match if you try to win. No, I'm not. But
Eli's after the stream is over, he's immediately pulling that episode up and just skipping to the last 10 minutes of the verdict. Before summarily unsubscribing from the Patreon. But yeah. Do you have any closing thoughts before we bring this home? I don't have anybody else jumping on the opportunity to climb into the show here. So unless somebody else in here who got here late would like me to put it in the chat, let me know and I will. But if not, I think I'm ready to let everybody do some plugging so we can all go to bed.
I'll just say that God, it's so nice to have Star Wars back, and in such a bombastic way. And I'm gonna be I'm going to be going back to school pretty soon, and I am so excited to have a series like this waiting for
What
me
grade are
every
you in
Tuesday
now?
night. No comment.
Sorry.
You broke Jarod more than me with that, which is
Sensational. That's his word.
let's see, it wasn't spelled silent. I could have sworn it was. Okay. If it wasn't spelled Sion, then I think we're safe.
No, I did really
it's
love.
SCION in the credits or the subtitles. It's SC.
Oh, it was SCION? Okay.
Yeah.
Thank God. Thank
Yeah.
God.
No, I did really love these first two episodes. I love the intrigue. I
Oh,
love
so
the
good.
tone. I am incredibly excited to have. I love The Mandalorian very much. I was talking about
Yes.
earlier. I cannot watch it without fucking crying because I love I love the metal man and the little green fuck, and they make me happy, and they make me
Yes.
feel a kind of love that I'm like, I would do anything for these two. However, I also like a Jedi story just about more than anything. So getting to finally have, and again, I go to the mat for the sequel trilogy, Buck. I know you don't care for it. I go to the mat for the sequel trilogy. I go to the mat for The Last Jedi. I know people wanted their story of Luke Han and Leia going on Luke Han, Leia, Lando, Chewie, all going on one last adventure together, and I understand that. And the people who didn't get that, I understand why. I understand why you didn't love it. However, I don't think I wanted that so much as I wanted what Legends was able to accomplish, which was pitting the Empire against shit you could only do with the context of the prequels.
Okay.
You
yes.
know, with
Yes.
legions of Jedi and shit being involved. And while there's not like much of a Jedi order to stand against the Empire in Thrawn's Return, what excites me is seeing kind of for the first time Star Wars adapt its own material. Like, and I want to see it adapted the way the MCU adapts a lot of its stories. You know,
Okay.
where it's that
Yeah,
like we're gonna
absolutely.
where it's like
with the Zahn 90s trilogy.
yeah, where it's like I'm gonna take a little bit of this, I'm gonna take a little bit of those elements. I'm gonna take a couple of these characters. I'm gonna put them in a blender and kind of mix them together, mix them up. I'm gonna take this handful of ideas and concepts and themes from a bunch of like related stories, and I'm gonna take a cool fucking name I like a lot that has to do with this
Yeah.
story, and I'm gonna kind of mix it all up. And I
Like
have our own
say
version of it.
damn it.
What's
Like
it?
say Heir to the Empire.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we joke, but like Avengers Age of Ultron. I know a lot of people
Yeah.
don't like that movie, and for some of them, there's very good reasons for it. But like Age of Ultron is a comic series,
Yeah.
and it involves Wolverine traveling back in time to kill people who built Ultron to try to stop a post-apocalypse that Ultron took over. And the last time I watched that movie, I did not notice Wolverine time traveling.
Yeah.
There was a marked absence of Wolverine traveling back in time to disembowel Hank Pym. I am okay with that.
Mhm.
Same thing with Civil War. They adapted
Right.
Civil War. The heart of that story of
Is
there is a question of government control and monitoring over superhumans, that one side is led by Captain America, who becomes a fugitive, and the other is led by Iron Man, who is working at the behest of the government. Team Iron Man for life. I'm sorry, you can't. Here's a Marvel hot take on the Star Wars call-in show. Thanos won, and it's Captain America's fault. Steve Rogers is to blame for half of the universe dying, and no one will ever change my mind. Fuck him. Love them, fuck them.
We will have that conversation later.
I know. We did so many DMs now. But anyway, but they do the same thing with Civil War. They bring that story to life, realizing that they
Right.
kind of have to move some of the pieces of the puzzle around. The idea that like we are going to get in some way, shape, or form heir to the Empire, maybe some story that will probably involve defeating Thrawn. That will involve some of my favorite parts of like old legends, like post Return of the Jedi stuff, which is like Jedi fighting the Empire. Like
Jedi fighting the Empire. Yeah.
I
And
really like that. Like we're already getting it. We're already getting it. This is
we're already
really
getting and my favorite thing about that whole like thing is how we could see it. I think a lot of us who were plugged in, who are like super plugged into this stuff, like saw it before it even like really started coming full force with Ahsoka, and with season 3 of Mando as well, where
Right.
I'm like, interesting. So the Book of Boba Fett is detailing the rise of a new criminal empire. And
Where have we seen
wouldn't
this before?
you know it, one of the major factors in Thrawn's demise and the fall of his resurgent empire is crime syndicates coming together with the New
Yes.
Republic. And I'm like, so we're making Boba Fett into the new Talon card, right?
Sort of. Like he's playing a similar role, it seems.
Yeah.
Maybe if we think he can.
Yeah.
damn. I'm excited.
Yeah, me too. The lead up to this feels almost like the lead up to any of the movies for me. Like the marketing, the excitement I've had the last several months, and then to even say the last several weeks or even days, like I've just been really, really excited.
Same,
I've
man.
been able to sleep. I've just it feels like Christmas. Like I have been so excited during my rewatch and rereads of certain stories.
Again,
I
I'll
am
say again,
rereading Heir to the Empire.
And I'm a super fan of this stuff. I have not been this excited about Star Wars in a little over a year since Obi-Wan Kenobi.
I love Obi-Wan. I just wasn't as excited for it as I am for this.
Yeah.
Like
It's really just like with Jared, like the Force shit gets me so goddamn much. Anything with any Force user, especially any Jedi, is just like, yep, give it to me, all of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I will like eat it up. And especially with these legacy characters and how well we didn't really touch on this, but I will just say how well they handled all these damn legacy characters.
Yes.
How well Mary Elizabeth Winstead killed Hera Syndulla. Like, God,
she's
damn.
dead in the ground.
I like the beauty was when I could hear Vanessa Marshall and Mary Elizabeth Winstead. When I could hear Tia Sarkar in Natasha.
Right, there are definitely moments where all three of the main act, and I love that this is a show. Okay, we didn't even talk about that. This is a show led by 3 women. What the like what?
And half the main villains are women. Half the main villains are women too. Yeah.
It just blows my mind that like the ladies are holding the screen.
And
they are knocking it out of the park. They have such great relationships between the 3 of them. That
number 2 is directed by women. Too.
Yes, Steph Green doing another fantastic job.
Steph Green doing another A+ episode 2 of a character show.
We love Steph Green.
Steph Green. Between
the
tribes of Tatooine and Toil and Trouble, damn.
I think my only like complaint about this show so far is that I do wish Mary Elizabeth Winstead would, when she's flying, would like shout, because that's what Hera would do. She would like raise her voice to shout at Chopper, and she was just like talking to Chopper as if he was right there. And that's the only thing that I wish was different. Other than that, like that's like the minorest, like stupidest nitpick I could ever have.
And,
I love the show. It's perfect.
I've
it's a 99.99%. Like.
Yeah, my minor one is like it's similarly minor. It's just like, hey, could we have wounded Sabine somewhere else so it doesn't look like she died?
Right.
That's really it.
I sat there like I'm like I know she's not dead because I know she's in the rest of the show, but I literally sat there during the credits just like, what the fuck?
I'm so glad we don't have to wait another week to find out if Sabine Wren is alive or not.
been
First
furious.
of all fucking hollered like I was watching a wrestling match when she got cut.
Mhm.
Second of all, I don't want to be one of those guys who does the whole like, oh, lightsabers are so weak in the Disney canon shit. Not everybody needs to get stabbed.
Okay.
Just let someone just get like a woof.
Yeah.
Like just kind of like cut somebody, because then you can be like, oh shit, this hurt, and if
Yeah.
left unattended, I'd probably die. But like, you know,
Looking at you, Grand Inquisitor.
yeah, like
Who, by the way, I loved Grand Inquisitor in Obi-Wan Kenobi like maybe 10 times as much as I did in Rebels. Until the point where he got stabbed in the chest and survived that.
I forgot about that.
Shit happens. Revenge does wonders to the will to live, don't you think? Anyway,
Hello, third sister.
I'm gonna go around. Ray, do you have any pluggables in terms of like social media and stuff people can find you at, bud?
No, not really. But I just wanted to make sure that I wasn't taking up anybody else's time. Like if there was anybody else like in the waiting room, like I would have felt bad.
No, absolutely not. No, I would have. I was gonna start cycling people through, but no, we're doing okay. There's no one come through the waiting room on this one, and then that's on me for starting way later than intended. If this started at like 10:30, like I would, like it probably will for the rest of this, you know, it'll be a lot more coming through stuff. And actually have people I can like invite and stuff. But no, absolutely. Buck, where can lovely people find you, my friend?
I am Highball2814 on Instagram and what's the other one? Blue Sky. My Highball2814 account was suspended on Twitter, so you won't find me there. And I'll be showing up at a couple of shows talking about Ahsoka, probably Bombay Cast and Radio Rebellion. And of course, you can find me in Epic Confrontations coming up in a few weeks.
I'm kidding.
Kicking ass while I'm sleeping.
Your team has no stick in that match. You can't say anything. No, you can find me at OchiFan327 everywhere. At In a Galaxy Pod is the show I do with my friend Jacob. We're resuming stuff. We're resuming production as of tomorrow. We're going to get into it's Ahsoka season. So as of now, of course, we're getting into Jedi Fallen Order. And we're having host of this show on Connor Chahidi on with us and Alex Damon for next week's show. And I'm very excited for the four of us to just nerd out over Jedi Fallen Order. Also, Epic Confrontations at In a Galaxy Trivia. We are unfortunately not going to be able to have an August match, but we're trying to do 2 matches in both September and October. And both of these guys to my left will be some part of the matches. So yeah, stay tuned for that.
Okay.
I mean, I've plugged it plenty on here. Everybody knows I'm playing a mystery movie trivia Schmodown veteran. I don't know who it is. Eli does. Alden Diaz knows. Other people know. I don't.
The only other people who know other than me and Alden are Boob and Connor. That's it.
Yes.
So just the hosts and
just the hosts.
Alden.
That's it.
Just the host and Alden who got to pick.
Who picked it?
Yeah. I out of kayfabe. This whole idea worked so much better when I was still the villain of Epic.
It really did. It was like it's now
I'm
like
just the whipping bitch.
Yeah, now he's like Alden's being extra dickish because he's like, and another one.
It doesn't help that Jarod, you did not stay in the gauntlet for very long.
Yeah, shit happens.
Shit.
It was like you were in and then you were out. I was like, that happened.
The original. I mean, hey,
you're still blaming me for that one, Buck. Don't bring this one back up.
That could be litigated on a different day.
I just know I did really, really well.
You did remarkably well, and you should be very proud of your performance in the Hyperspace Gauntlet. The funny thing with here's a little behind the scenes for Epic Confrontations. The original plan was, assuming I beat Scotty and we wouldn't have to like pivot to me no longer being controlled by Cookie Cop. Such a wild fucking sentence to say out loud. Fucking, I need medicated. The plan was that like I would be on this like this winning streak. That
Yeah.
my next real match would be like, okay, like as a heel, I have beaten so many people.
You're on a run. You seem unstoppable. Let's have somebody put a screeching halt to all of that.
Yeah, and Alden gets framed as like, oh, like he is a character, is a dickhead, but he's not a villain. And like because Alden beat me in our exhibition match, I was like, he gets to pick my next opponent. And behind the scenes, Alden was like, how do you want me to do this? And because Alden knows more Schmoedown people than I do. And I said, I want you to find somebody who will put me through a fucking wall. I want you. I was like, I want somebody who's a goddamn Schmoedown vet. And I know he found one. I know y'all found one. And again,
I was thinking of you going like Scotty in that one video at Anaheim. I want all in.
Yeah, I want
it's
all
bad.
Yeah, and again at the time, like the whole framing device was like I went on such a tear that like storytelling wise, like it made sense to like take me down a peg. And put me in a situation that, again, like depending on how the match shakes out, because obviously we don't know how the match is going to shake out. So either it becomes, oh, like the villain has pie on his face, or now I'm scarier because I somehow beat a Schmoedown vet. And like it could go either way. But now, since I lost to Scotty by one motherfucking question that he guessed on, now it's just Alden, who's now become a super villain in terms of framing. Went, oh yeah, he lost this match. I'm gonna find somebody who can beat him into a pulp.
He's kicking you while you're down.
He said, "It is just stepping on me while I'm on the ground." You're absolutely right.
It has been a delight to watch. I will say that.
Oh, hey,
we got some great stuff cooking. I'm excited.
Alden and I are great scene partners, and
that is extremely true.
There is the hilarity of like of the simultaneous texting conversation happening while we're both in kayfabe. Of like he'll hit me with a rib and I'll hit him with a jab and meanwhile we're like, oh, that was great. Like when we're like and we will be texting and like, okay, end it now. Okay, cool. Like he's my favorite person to fucking cut a
I'm excited for the stuff with the Way Seeker Alliance. I'm excited with the stuff for the Chungus Eternal.
Yes.
I'm trying to think. Well, with our new teams, Tommy Two Horns, Hearts of Kyber, the Bi Republic.
Yes,
debuting
Thank you for letting me steal that, by the way.
Yeah, of course. Listen, man, I had the name, and then I was like, I'm gonna build something around this.
You can have it back whenever.
No, I know, and I'm glad you found something to use it for. At least with a faster turnaround time than I did. But yeah, no, fucking check out Epic Confrontations. I'm always talking about it. It's gonna be a blast. Yeah. I'm probably gonna get pimp slapped by somebody from Movie Trivia Schmoedown. Like I said, I'm not sure who it is yet.
Maybe.
I
said maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, maybe. I think you said maybe it's a Schmoedown person. I'm like, I know it's a Schmoedown person. Then
I said maybe you'll get slapped. Maybe you won't. I don't know.
Maybe I won't. Hey, this could be the beginning of like my comeback. You know, as I beat a Schmoedown guy, and it's like 0 to hero from Hercules.
I was gonna say, like, Americans love a good redemption story, right?
Right. Come back from Cookie Cop, have a winning team in the teams division that I'm training, and beat a Schmoedown player, and then take that shiny belt off of Alden's shoulder once he gets it, which is bullshit, but that's beside the point. Anyway, you guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram at DarkJedi2552. You can find the Nerd Academy podcast wherever you listen to podcasts, on YouTube, on all social media, and on our website, thenerdacademypodcast.com. If you're feeling generous, you can donate to our Patreon. It's getting late. I'll do all the normal plugs I do at the end of an episode next week. But we will be streaming live next week again to talk about episode 3 of Ahsoka. So yeah, you guys come join us and join the show. Hit that link so you can call in. Patrons will get priority. That's Ray and Eli were in here lickety split. I was running late, like I said earlier. So yeah, next week I think we're going to be starting much sooner after the episode is on Disney Plus. So yeah,
I've heard. I don't know this, but I've heard that that 3 is a shorter one.
well, then we'll be on much faster.
All right.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you guys for watching, and may the force be with you. Oh fuck, where's the clip? May the force be with you always.
Stop! Move away from the cookie jar!